All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er draft video. Make sure you check out Pig in a Pickle. They've got 2 locations. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. right there in Corte Madera. And they're also open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. They're inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. Get the brisket and tell them that Krug sent you. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 49ers. The draft is approaching, and interesting report from Ryan Fowler from the Draft Network that on Tuesday, the 49ers met with a running back named Israel Abanikanda. They call him Izzy. He's a 20-year-old running back for the University of Pittsburgh, and he's a really, really special player. And I love this player. I've watched him a lot on film. He's 5'10". He's pretty stout. He's about 215 pounds. They're thinking he's probably going to be a 4th-round pick to a 6th-round pick. He's going to be in one of those middle rounds for the 49ers if they want to grab him. Somewhere between round 4 and 6, he's going to go. Was an incredible bust-out player in 2022. He had one of the greatest seasons in college football in 2022. He was named All-American. He ran for over 1,400 yards. He was all ACC. He had 6 yards a carry and 20 touchdowns, the most of any running back in the FBS, in all of the FBS. Played 3 seasons at the University of Pittsburgh and ran for 31 touchdowns in those 3 seasons and averaged 6 yards a pop. So really, really productive college football player. He's got experience as a kick returner. I think that's how he's going to kind of step into the league. He'll probably be a kick returner for the first year or 2, and then he'll transition to having a more pivotal role from scrimmage. But just a very valuable player, a very versatile player. This is an explosive running back with really explosive cutting ability. He's got excellent body control, plays with a terrific low center of gravity, just has crazy agility. You know, you look at this running back, and he's incredibly powerful. He's incredibly explosive. He's very, very agile. Now, he's not a finished product. He needs to work on a couple things. He needs work as a blocker, picking up blitzes. You know, you're not going to play for Bobby Turner unless you can block. So he's going to need some work there. He definitely needs some refinement as a receiver. They don't really use him a lot as a receiver. They use him a lot more as a running back. But the Niners are showing interest. They're not the only team that's showing interest. He also met with the Cardinals. He's met with the Rams. And, you know, this guy had one of the greatest individual games in the history of college football. If you saw him against Va Tech, he had 320 yards and 6 touchdowns against the Hokies in a 45-29 victory over Va Tech. And, you know, he's only the 3rd running back to ever in the history of college football, I should say in the last 25 years, to rush for 300 plus yards and 6 touchdowns in a game in the last 25 years. There haven't been too many backs, 3 running backs ever, who have had 320 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns in one game. And he's the 3rd to do it. So he comes from a lineage of great athletes. His father was a great track star at Georgia Tech. And Izzy Abanikanda is a really, really special player. Now, he did tweak his hamstring during the pre-draft workouts, so he didn't compete in the events in Indianapolis at the Combine. But, man, he went off at Pitt's Pro Day. He had a phenomenal day. He ran 4.34 in the 40 and just showed that incredible explosive speed. I think this is a real difference maker back. You know, there are some guys who run in the 4.3s in this draft, but they're more like 175 pounds, 180 pounds. This guy's 5'10", 215 to 217 in that range. He's a 3-down back, you know, and then the combination of the measurables, the power, the speed, the agility, the versatility. He had a 41-inch vertical. He had a 10'8" broad jump, which is huge, all huge numbers. These are all like, top 95 percentile of all the running backs in this draft. And this guy's workout numbers are right there at the top of the draft. But then he also has incredible collegiate production. And you look at the year that he had this year, he's an explosive mover. And, the 49ers, you look at the Niners, they've obviously got Kyle Juszczyk as your fullback. And then you've got Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell. You have J.P. Mason. You had Ty Davis-Price. So it's easy to look at that running back room and say, you know what? The cupboard is kind of full. And running back is probably not, near the top or at the top of the 49er needs. But when you look at the explosive ability of Abanikanda, this is the kind of guy that can change the outlook of your football team. This is the kind of guy that can change the way defenses defend you. And if there's one player that the Niners ought to add in the backfield, it's a dynamic mover who can help on special teams, who's got big time explosive ability, who can get to the outside, who can get to the edges, kind of like a Raheem Mostert. You say, what do they miss? They miss Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert could get to the edge at will in the outside zone and just take off and become a big play. He could bring you a big play basically at will. McCaffrey's a really nice receiver, very versatile. I think, Elijah Mitchell is one of the better pick and slide inside runners you're going to find in the NFL, and he doesn't fumble. J.P. Mason is kind of like a poor man's Marshawn Lynch. He's rumbling. He runs with a lot of power, kind of runs upright. Ty Davis-Price is 220 pounds, is a little bit faster than you think, but he's more of an inside runner. They don't really have that Raheem Mostert back, that Matt Breida type back, that back that can get to the edge at will, spread out the defense, one cut and go, home run hitter, a guy who can take it to the house on any particular singular snap. And Izzy Abanikanda is that kind of back. I really love him. I think he's going to be an absolute steal. There's two explosive backs that I'm looking at in this draft. One is Keaton Mitchell out of East Carolina. The other is this kid, Izzy Abanikanda. Mitchell is Mitchell's smaller. He's like 180, 185 pounds. He's faster, but he's smaller. Or maybe I shouldn't say he's faster. He's as fast, but he's smaller. And Abanikanda is, as I said, approaching 220 pounds, but he still runs 4.34. And when you turn on the film, you can see that explosive speed. And then you look at the body control and the cutting ability and his fit on this team as a special teamer to begin, and the versatility, just a real nice profile all the way across. You got a very productive football player. You got a really special athletic football player. And you've got a guy who, is probably going to come off the board anywhere between rounds 4 and 6. And the 49ers have a bunch of picks in that range. And if they want to grab Abanikanda, they're probably going to be well positioned to do exactly that. So remember that name. Izzy Abanikanda. Keep saying that one. He's a tremendous player, and you're going to see him in the NFL for years to come. Explosive running back, and according to the Draft Network's Ryan Fowler, the Niners met with him. Probably shows that they like him, and it would be exciting to see, a 220-pound back who runs in the 4.3s added to this running back room. As I said, I think he would help them initially as a return man, but man, he gives them a dynamic that their other backs simply don't. All right. Hope you enjoyed our 49er draft video. Look for Izzy Abanikanda in the upcoming draft. And thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out. They're in Marin County, open 7 days a week. They're in Emeryville, open Wednesday through Sunday. And thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.